Hey guys, how's it going? TechSpecs here. Hope you're all doing well. If you're an Apple Watch user, you may know that last week Apple released WatchOS 7 to the public with lots of new features like family setup, hand washing reminders, and of course sleep tracking. As you might have guessed, in this video we're going to be going into the sleep tracking element, as I've been using the new sleep app on my Apple Watch for the last week or so, and I found the experience to be kind of meh. The way that Apple has done it just seems to be a bit underwhelming and basic, but there are also some perks to it that are things that I never thought were useful until I used them for myself. So let's begin with before you even go to sleep, setting up a schedule. This part is actually quite good and can be done either in the sleep app on your Apple Watch or in the health app on your iPhone. Like you would expect, you can set a sleep goal of how many hours you want to sleep for, which for me is about 8 hours. This means setting both a time to go to bed and a time to wake up, and this is great as it means that you can start getting into a regular routine, which is important now that everyone is starting to finally go back to work and to school. You can also set up specific shortcuts to run before you go to bed too, so that could be playing some calming music, or your favourite podcast, or having your HomeKit devices set a certain scene with warmer lighting. And again, this helps to get you into a routine and also into a calm state before going to bed. I personally don't use any shortcuts before sleeping, but my iPhone does go into a dim state with Do Not Disturb turned on an hour before I go to bed in order to reduce the distraction of any notifications and so forth that I might get, as it helps to calm me down. Just before that happens though, you do usually get a notification to tell you to start settling down, and the Apple Watch will tell you if you need to charge it before it's bedtime so that it will have enough juice to last throughout the night. And when it is eventually bedtime, your watch face will become a new grey screen which shows you just the essentials: the time, the date, and your alarm if you set one. The watch also doesn't turn on when you raise it or move it, and instead will wait for you to tap the display or press one of the side buttons, of course so that when you are in bed it won't turn on and accidentally wake you up. You have to physically scroll on the digital crown to unlock it, kind of like when you have water lock on, and again so that you don't accidentally go and open anything. Quite smart. However, this is where the experience starts to go a bit downhill. Sleeping with a watch on your wrist doesn't feel entirely comfortable to say the least, and even though I use the comfiest strap that I have, it always initially feels like I have some extra weight hanging onto me. This is probably just because I'm not used to it yet, but I already wear my Apple Watch enough, as you can see by the tan line I have and the slight dip that I have on my wrist. I think I must need some breathing time to relax and not have to put up with something gripping on my wrist all hours of the day. Then the next thing is battery drain. During the night, the Apple Watch is continually at work to see how much you are moving, what your heart rate is, and how awake you are. This of course will use up your battery even though you're not necessarily doing anything other than sleeping. In my experience, on a full charge, I usually end my day with about 45%, and by the morning when I wake up after sleep tracking, I usually have about 20, which is quite a significant hit. Luckily, I can usually charge my watch before I go anywhere in the morning, but for people who may need to get up and go right away, you may want to reconsider using your watch for sleep tracking if you know that your battery isn't the strongest and you won't have enough time for a quick top up before you leave. Despite all this, the battery drain probably isn't even the worst part about the sleep app. As you may remember, I said that it was a bit underwhelming and basic, and that is because of what you get afterwards in the results. All you can really see on the watch when you wake up is the total time that you slept for, and a bar with the start and end times, which has some intervals throughout it which supposedly show you the times when you were more awake. Underneath that, there's also a bar comparing the last 14 days that you've tracked, along with an average of all of them days. On the health app on your iPhone, there's a little more detail, with a graph showing your heart rate and a better view of the graphs that you can already find on the watch. But apart from that, you don't really get any other extra information, and to me that isn't worth the hassle of wearing a watch in bed. I think that if Apple had an app that was similar to already existing ones like Pillow or Sleep++, which show extra stuff like REM sleep and more detailed statistics, the experience would be much more worth it. For now, I don't think there's much of a point to sleep tracking with the sleep app, as you don't really learn much more than you would have done if you just recorded when you went to bed and when you woke up, and wore your watch to track your heart rate. But don't get me wrong, there are also some perks to the sleep app, like getting a reminder to go to bed, having an alarm wake you up right from your wrist, or even just having the little morning summary that shows you the time, the date, the weather, and how much battery you have on your watch. If those features are things that you really want to use, then I can recommend you use the sleep app, but otherwise, like I said, there's not really much of a point to it until Apple adds any extra groundbreaking features that can really make a difference to how you sleep. I'm curious though, if anyone watching has an Apple Watch and has been using the sleep app for sleep tracking, let me know your thoughts about it down below in the comments, as it would be interesting to hear other people's perspectives on this topic. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe as it really helps the channel out. This is TechSpecs here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.